And welcome everyone for thank you for tuning in again on another episode of What Now. I have a great guest starting off July. I actually can't believe I have been doing this for a while already. Hey Lucas, hey E, what's going on? I just realized it's July 1st and I started this talk in March, end of March somewhere, and I think this is episode number 35 or 36. So I've been doing a lot of talks, but today, July 1st, I have a great producer, Amadeus, and I'm very excited to have him as my guest because he has worked with literally all the greats, and so I honestly am honored that he wanted to be my guest. He sent me a message and he said he wanted to be on my little show. It's not really a show, but I had to wear my producer shirt for this talk. Waiting on him to get in. I already informed him that I cannot do monologues. Also today, did not do the hair. It's been very crazy weather, so it's no use doing the hair because it'll be rained out anyway. I'm thinking about keeping this show going, even though Corona is kind of dying down out here. We're still dealing with the social distancing and the measures and whatnot, but we're pretty much open again. All the borders within Europe, we can travel back and forth again. But I know in the States, it's only flaring up in different states, and states are locking down again. So if anybody has eye for detail, thanks, E. I think I should get you on here as a guest as well. Yes, and you as well, Daryl. And I'm not gonna change the name because this is the brand. What Now can be applied to anything in life, especially in this industry. If you've reached your success, what now? If you've reached a low point in your career, what now? If you want to give up, what now? I'm sure that a lot of creatives have dealt with that question of giving up. I mean, this industry is so crazy. I've had my share of days of giving up and not wanting to do it. So, and then, you sit for a minute and then you realize it's your passion. So you're still going to keep going no matter what. What's up, Alvin? Alvin, great visual artist from Chicago. I love those guys. I love everyone. I actually have some of his artwork hanging here. So check out Alvin. I'm just promoting everyone on here. If you don't know E the Mad Assassin, check his work. He's just throwing out a bunch of new songs. Lucas, also one of my favorite new artists. Please check out his song. He told me he's coming out with his second single soon. So we're all looking forward to that. And of course, Dawu Keys. If you don't know the man, please check him out because he's literally worked with all the greats as well. I am waiting for Amadeus to get in here, although I did tell him I cannot do a monologue. He's letting me do one today. So we're just going to have to talk about all kinds of stuff. Tell me how everyone is doing. Are you guys safe and sound while you're tuned in? How is it going in your state or in your area? I'm actually looking forward to traveling again, and I wish I could come back to the States, but it seems like it's not happening this year anymore. I was going to say, for the people that have eye for detail, if you take a good look, you see that I've removed the face mask from my flyers. Because over here, I mean, yes, you should wear a face mask, obviously, but because things are dying down over here, I felt like, let's change up this flyer a little bit because I've been doing so many talks with that flyer. And I wanted to show my funny face, like, what now? I thought that photo was very appropriate. O-Town. I never knew that you guys call that O-Town. And I don't think I've ever been there. But I might drive by at some point. Okay, let's go, Mr. Amadeus. Where are you? Let me send him a message. Until he arrives. And if you have any questions, please make sure that you put it in the question box and I'll make sure to get to them and answer them. Hi, Quinn. How are you? Okay, he's coming in, he said. So Quinn is actually doing a really great project for women, if I recall. I have to look at the website. Quinn, you were supposed to send me the link to it. She has an initiative where she's helping underprivileged women, actually, that are, you know, in need of help. So yeah, if I'm saying this wrong, please let me know. There's so much information coming at me nowadays. So I'm sure he's probably writing another masterpiece. Well, not during our talk, please. No, he knows he's coming. He says he's coming in. Yeah, let me know what's good with everyone. Quinn, you're in Dubai, I think you told me. So how's it over there with the corona situation, COVID-19? Let us know. I'm always excited to have different people tuning in from all over the world, because the situation was the same when we started in March, but now it's pretty much different in different areas of the world, because we're all handling it different. All the governments are handling it different. But we still need inspiration and motivation as creatives, as people, so we can all use that, whether it's a corona crisis or not. So I'm just going to keep going with this talk and stay inspiring people, hopefully. I mean, not me, but my guests. So I will stay providing a platform for people to promote their work, their art, their creations, and hopefully inspire other people. Yay, he's coming in. And I did a 6-minute monologue this time, and I'm proud of myself. Why I used to have a radio show, because I can talk shit and make it interesting. Let's see. I don't have to talk about myself. Yay! Welcome.
I love the claps. I love the claps.
The clap? Oh, you want applause when you come in. You want
no, I mean, but it's like for both of us. Like, you know, I'm applauding you. You know,
thank you.
It's like I'm happy to be here. I'm just like,
you know what? Your energy from the moment you hit me up, your energy was just so upbeat. Like,
thank you.
I can't explain it. Like, you know, people can't always interpret things from text or from messages, but you just came at me and it was like a ball of sunshine hitting me in the face.
I love it.
It was, and for me, you know, you're talking about, oh, thank you for letting me be on there. And I'm like, no, thank you. I'm like nobody. Like,
no, yes, you are. You are somebody.
But...
You are a queen, and you have a dope platform. And I don't just, you know, you get on anybody's platform like they have to.
Because I thought you did, though. Because I've seen you in all these lives. So I'm like, oh, I'm just one of the many.
You know, I'm like, nah. Because what it is I feel like, and not to get deep, right? But oftentimes creative, successful individuals, right, have a process, right?
Right.
When you got to talk to this person, you got to talk to that person. And I get it, you know, and you're scheduling this and you're scheduling that. You have publicists, you have managers, and it's like, you know, it can be so difficult at times, right? And I'm like, you know what? I don't want to be difficult. Like, if someone has a platform and they're dope at what they do and they're positive, I'm gonna go in there and we're gonna rock out. Like, I'm not gonna make it difficult. I'm not gonna say call my manager. I'm not gonna say, well, let me see. I'm home. I'm chilling. We're in a pandemic.
Yeah.
Cut it out. Like, oh, let me check my schedule. What schedule?
That's exactly what this series was about. You know, to motivate people during the pandemic. All the creative industries were shut down. People were like frustrated, and I felt compelled to inspire and motivate people and help them realize that they're not the only ones, and that even their peers or people that they look up to or strive to be like have the same issues and are dealing with the same crisis.
Exactly.
Mentally, physically, socially, it's just really, we're all in the same boat. And that's what I try to bring with this platform. But then it turned into more inspirational and motivational in general, not just for creatives. And it's been so, well, I think it's been successful.
Yes,
I don't
absolutely.
have a million viewers, but
listen, if you can reach one person, job done.
Exactly.
Because sometimes.
So how did you find me?
I saw you. Was it Shauna? I think Shauna posted.
Oh, Shauna. Okay. Yeah.
Shauna posted it, and then I was like, okay, let me check her out and see what she had going on. And I went to your page and like kind of like started checking out other interviews that you did, and I'm like, okay, she's well put together. Like, she has it together. It's like organized, it's professional. Like, she's taking the time. This ain't like something to just thrown together. Like, I look at all of those different things. Well, you know,
I'll tell you this: it is thrown together, but I make it look good.
Right. It's a
Because
difference now.
I have that experience. I've had the 20 years of experience where I don't really have to dive into background research and have to prepare what to say. I
Right.
know how to talk. I've
Right.
learned to do that. I've talked to probably half of the people that you've worked with.
Wow, that's awesome.
So in an actual interview setting outside
Right.
of Instagram. So
Right. Right.
so I just make it look good. I
Amen.
pride myself in that, and
That
I
that
say
you
that
do.
I'm good at what I do.
That's right. That's right. You better say it.
Yes, and thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to talk to you, because I myself personally had never heard of you, and
Okay.
I'm a producer's person. Like
Really?
I've written articles about producers being undervalued. I'll send you the one that was
Please.
pretty big.
That's a pretty good subject.
Yeah, I had input from a whole bunch of different producers. I've
Okay.
made it a point to interview producers to highlight their work, because it's always about the artist. The artist is always in the spotlight, especially back in the day. Nowadays,
true.
producers are more artists themselves.
Right.
But I hadn't heard of you. So when I saw your whole discography, I was just like, why didn't I know this person? You can't know everyone.
Exactly. You took the words right out of my mouth.
I'm happy that I actually now get a chance to know you, not just
Thank you
as,
so much.
you know, a musician, as an artist, but, you know, you do a lot of inspiring work as well. And
Yes.
that's something that really made me feel like, ooh, this guy is perfect for this platform.
Awesome.
So for those who don't know you, who are you, where are you from, and how did you start your love for music?
Right. My name is Amadeus, King Amadeus. Born in the Bronx, New York, 169th Washington Avenue to be exact. CEO of Platinum Boy Music Inc., which is my hat that I'm wearing. Multi-platinum bad boy hitman producer, blessed to produce for over 100 artists. J-Lo, French Montana, Justin Bieber, Chris Brown, Trey Songz, CeeLo Green, Remy Ma, Papoose, Keisha Cole, ESPN, Burger King, Sprite, VH1, MTV, BT. I also tour, just to name a few.
Right.
I also tour with Trey Songz as his music director and tour drummer for the last 13 years. So any live show you've seen, whether it's Hot 97 Summer Jam, whether it's BET Awards, whether it's us on 106 in Park, Jimmy Kimmel, it's my job as a music director to put together the best show musically for the fans and for the audience. And I'm also his drummer as well. So that I have a residency at the #1 nightclub in Las Vegas, hip hop nightclub in Las Vegas, Dre's Nightclub. So as a drummer and as a musician, I play drums alongside the DJ Franzen. And it just enhances the music. So as a club goer, to hear a drummer play on top of
live instruments, added to a DJ or any artist really is always extra. I mean,
absolutely.
I come from a musical family. My dad was a musician. He was a guitarist. He was a producer. Okay. So, you know, I love live instruments. They really add
So you know,
value.
yes, absolutely. So that, and in regards to my start, again, I came up in the Bronx, the home of hip hop, the birthplace of hip hop. So obviously I fell in love with hip hop. It wasn't the easiest thing to do. My parents are very spiritual churchgoers. So when I wanted to listen to hip hop, I had to sneak to do that.
Right.
So that was pretty challenging. But I attended Catholic school all my life. So in 4th grade, I had the opportunity to learn a musical instrument. That musical instrument was drums. Never touched an instrument. Never knew I had a love for any instrument. But it was like love at first sight.
Wow.
Fell in love with it. Had a natural gift and talent when it comes to it, because when you talk about drums, you have to have coordination. Each hand, each arm, each leg is doing something different. Your feet. So I fell in love with that. Fast forward, played in all of the bands at school, played in the band at church, of course.
I was about to say.
Absolutely. That's where the real seasoning, and that's
right.
where the real...
I know, like every good musician has played in church.
Oh man,
my dad played in church. I played
absolutely.
in church. So,
absolutely. That's where all of the seasoning and the sauce comes from.
Exactly.
So that, and then once I reached about 14, 15 years old, I decided that I wanted to become a producer. I loved it. I loved hip hop. I loved all of the instrumentation aspects of it. Me being a drummer, I felt like I had an advantage already, because I kind of understood production from a beat side of things. And to me, it was just joining the melody with the beat. And the rest was history, and here we go.
Was there a specific song or a specific artist that made you think about, hey, I want to do production?
I was really influenced by the whole Bad Boy era. Like Bad Boy for me, like I feel like really did it. You know what I mean? So shout out to Puff, shout out to the original Bad Boy Hitman team. You know,
Right.
so listening to artists like Biggie, rest in peace, and Faith, and 112, and Mace,
Yeah.
and you know, all of those different artists had different sounds and unique vibes. The production
Yes.
was different for each and every individual artist. So that really was a huge inspiration for me, along with like the whole Rough Rider movement, right? And
It
then
was a whole new sound at the time.
yeah, just
Just like the New
everybody,
Jack Swing,
right?
Diddy, Puff Daddy, whatever his name was at the time, came with his new sound as well. Because you could tell when a hit was dropped, who produced it or what camp it came
Right.
from. I don't
Right.
necessarily know that anymore nowadays. But back then, everybody had their sound. Just like the
Yes.
Neptunes, Timbaland, they all came with
Exactly.
their own sound. Yeah.
Exactly. So, you know, they played a part. But I think the fact that I was from New York, born in New York, raised in New York, but I had appreciation for music in general as a whole, right? So
Right.
even Dr. Dre and the whole West Coast sound, you know, had influence on me as well. And then when, you know, of course, when Damon Dash and, you know, and Biggs and Jay formed Rockefeller Records, that whole Rockefeller movement was influential in regards to me in production too.
Right.
So so many different areas. But then, you know, based off of my parents and what they played in the house growing up, I was influenced by, you know, the oldies but goodies, the
Right.
legends,
You
Michael
can mix
Jackson,
that.
Marvin Gaye,
Yeah.
Quincy Jones. So I had all of those different influences, and I kind of just, you know, put it in one pot and then figured out
created
how
your
I
own
can
sound.
take bits and pieces of each and every single thing, person, style, sound, and now say, well, who is Amadeus? You know what I
Right.
mean?
And that's interesting to me because, again, and this is not being offensive to you because I don't know everyone, but
Right.
I'm now really going to check for your music to see if I can hear that Amadeus sound,
Right.
because I'm sure
Right.
you have it.
It
I mean,
depends. It depends. So just, you know, as a disclaimer, being that I felt, you know, so I love the fact that you said that. Being that I felt that a lot of producers and people in camps had a sound, I kind of wanted to shy away from that, believe it or not.
see, that's why I don't know you.
Yeah, I kind
So
of wanted.
did you cater more to the artist sounds? Do you
No,
feel like
I
you did
just no, because with that I never produced or created a beat, right? That was for you as an artist. You know what I mean?
Right.
I didn't like doing that because, and that comes with trial and error. I felt personally, if I make a beat for Jay-Z, right, and it's
Right.
specifically for Jay-Z, let's say for instance Jay-Z don't take that track. Now I'm stuck with a track that's in my computer that I made for
that's
Jay-Z.
specifically made for, yeah.
You know, no one else. Nah, it really sounds like something you would give Jay, and now everybody's kind of
Right,
shying away
right.
for it. So
Yeah.
I've always produced what I felt, what I feel, what I dig. I fell in love with what I make, right? And then I just, you know, give it to everybody, and then see who gravitates towards it, who can feel it, and who can connect with it. And that's kind of been my approach ever since the beginning. So it kind of, I do agree with you, and that may be a reason why you may not be familiar with my work, because it's so many different styles and
Yeah.
sounds. Like me being
That
from New
makes
York,
sense.
right? I produced for G Unit, produced for Dipset, Fabulous, you know, Busta Rhymes, Remy Ma,
Yeah.
Papoose, right?
They are
But
all
then-
different people with different sounds, which is
But New
why
York,
I was impressed, really.
Right,
Because
but-
if you can cater, well, not cater to those people, but if you can create a sound that fits everyone,
mhm,
then that's actually, it may even be equally as great as having your own signature sound.
right, I
And
agree
you're
with
not
that.
screaming your name through all the productions. I mean, just like,
Another thing,
I mean,
another thing, yeah,
I love
another
Justin,
thing.
but you know,
Right. Another thing that I shied from, I just shied away from that. I just, you know, I got the branding and marketing aspect of it, and I thought it was cool for that. But I didn't want that. I wanted to create something where if you heard a song or record produced by Amadeus, it was like, oh wow, you did that. I
Right.
wanted to create that effect on the
Yeah,
listener
yeah,
and
yeah.
on the fan and on the audience, because I wanted to surprise you every single time in regards to what I was capable of doing creatively. So like
Yeah.
you said, my Busta Rhymes record it will sound nothing like the record I did for The Game.
right.
You know what I'm saying? Or a
But
Chris
that's
Brown
how it's
record.
supposed to be, really.
Yeah.
I mean, not
But
necessarily, because I mean, you know, the producers that we all do know by name, they all have made things that I'm thinking, wow, did they do that too? So
Right.
it's not necessarily that they're only stuck to one sound. I mean, but that's their brand, like you said.
Right.
That's how they brand themselves. And that's also, thanks to that, that's how the producer became an artist and more appreciated. So we
That is
can't
true.
really knock that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was wearing my producer shirt just especially for this talk.
Fire. Dilla Premier, P-Rock, Prince Paul. Who's on the bottom? RZA. Fire.
Yeah. And I have a custom one with 14KT, Dre, the R, Crisis, and Knots, I think. Yeah, like
I gotta make it on one of those shirts, man. I gotta keep working so I can make it on one of those shirts. No,
you're gonna be on the next one. But yeah, like I said, I have a love for producers. So for me, I've always, you know, being Dutch, I'm a Dutch native. I'm not American. I live in Amsterdam.
Okay.
The first thing we hear, or I hear, is the music. You know, I'm not English native. So the first thing that captures me is the harmonies, melodies, the kicks. And if I vibe to it, maybe after I played it like 5 or 6 times, I start listening to the lyrics. Because, you know, when slang is being used and whatnot, you don't always get the references.
That's real.
And so that's why my love for music is a little bit more than just an artist, a rapper, or a singer. Now, unless you're a musician and you songwrite and you do all the other things, you compose, that's a whole different type of artist. But I gravitate to the music first.
Right. Believe it or not, me too. Me too. I've always done that. I've always, if I like the beat, I'll listen to the song. And even growing up, like there's some situations where it could be one of the dopest artists in the world. If the beat didn't grab my attention, I might not even listen to that song. You know what I mean? So I agree.
But I always admired artists that take the risk to progress as an artist and move away from their familiar sound that's been successful. Because too many artists are like, oh, I have to sound the same because or my fan base will leave. And you know, one of the artists that I really admire in that is Prince. Prince has been so experimental with all his sounds, all the instruments. And I know he made a rock album at one point, and everybody was like hating on it. And I'm like, he wanted to make that, and it actually was a great rock album.
Right.
But nobody wanted to do that because that wasn't the Prince sound. Like,
and that's kind of like one of the challenges that artists face, where, like you said, once you kind of create a style or sound in music, sometimes, depending on the fan individually, of course, but they will want you to keep doing that same thing. So I think, you know, as fans or as an audience, it's very important to be willing to explore or adventure with that artist, that's your favorite artist, because he or she may be wanting to try something different or trying to, you know, just, you know, because you just never know. Music is a feeling. Music is a feeling. It's an expression. There's no right or wrong, you know, thing to do it, or there's no right or wrong way to create it. So it's like, if you rock with me and if you support me as an artist, I might try something different, and I want to take you with me on that journey to explore. It may work, it may not work, but the freedom of speech and just to have free will and to be free, to be able to, it's a blessing, man. So I really love when artists take that chance to just try something different or try something unique.
Yeah, and then try that because that's how they feel in the moment, or that's the phase in life that they're about, not just to see if they can speak to a different audience. I like genuine, you know, passion, which is what I think will always be supported by fans. Right. We were talking about the different music groups back in the day. Were you at all, because I didn't hear you mention them, you mentioned a whole bunch of them, were you influenced by the South as well, like So So Def and, you know, No Limit and stuff? Cash Money?
I really was influenced by the So So Def movement. I liked a lot of what JD brought to the table. I listened to Chris, you know, just going all the way back. I was a fan of the Brat, a fan of Chris Cross, of course, Usher. And I know he was, you know, those were pretty much his artists to a certain extent. I know Usher originally came in with Puff, but then I think, you know, later down the line, JD came into play, and then they kind of linked on that level.
And then they did the LaFace, you know, Usher. I think Usher went to LaFace, and they went to the South and teamed up for something.
Got you. But JD definitely. No Limit. I wasn't really all the way in with that
Master P, yeah,
style.
me either.
Yeah, that sound. I heard. What
He's a
he
great
had
businessman.
yeah. What was his song? Make him say nah.
Yep.
So certain records, kind of, I kind of rocked with. But it
How
wasn't a
about
real.
DJ Screw?
A little. That there's songs that I will listen to that maybe I wasn't aware of.
Right.
That now, not even now, but let's say like a decade ago, 20 years ago, I kind of connect with because I kind of got to broaden my horizons and got to learn who these MCs and legends are. Like, like a Pimp C and, Bun B and UGK. Like,
right.
I think honestly, yeah, I learned, I always knew who they were. So I knew their names, but I connected with UGK once Jay-Z, did Big Pimpin'.
What, the Big Pimpin'?
I'm being open, I'm being real and honest, and I think that's the dope part.
It was my ringtone for a long time.
Really?
I'll tell you that. Big Pimpin' was a ringtone of my old Sony phone for a long time.
And I think it's very important. That's why I love when artists really connect with other artists from different regions, because it allows you, me being from New York, to learn and to gain appreciation for an artist like, like a UGK, a Bun B, rest in peace, Pimp C, or, someone from the South, me learning about, I think if I'm not mistaken, I learned about Jeezy and T.I., through Puff, when Puff started working with, Boys in the Hood, what I'm saying? And then Puff did the record with T.I. So, I'm grateful for those regions.
There was an era where everybody stuck to their little clique, and now, literally now, with 20-some years later, everybody does the crossover. So it's and sounds are very blended, which is probably why I can't necessarily hear where the sound is from anymore nowadays. Right. And that's not a bad thing, but that is something that I loved back then. Like, you had your preference. I was a teenager. In school, everybody had the preference. Like, I'm team this and I'm team that. It was just, and then I started going to LA, and then I got introduced to the whole West Coast sound, and I was an East Coast trader or whatever. And I'm not even from the States.
Right.
Oh man. Memories.
It's just amazing. It's just amazing how music is worldwide. And I to be honest, I never really got to understand and appreciate it until I started touring. When we went to Japan and we went to Australia and all of Europe, and these concert venues are packed out and they're singing every Trey Songz record, even if again, Amsterdam is one of our big regions. Like it's a place where Trey gets a lot of love. You know what I'm saying? So to go to Amsterdam and it's like, this is packed with all these amazing people, and they're singing every word, word for word. It's like, wow, I didn't know that this really existed.
They may not even understand half of it.
Right.
So have you worked with international artists? Like the production of international artists?
I've worked with artists from Japan before. I've worked with artists. There's an artist named Fabri Fabra. He's from Italy, Milan to be exact, and he's like really big over there.
Right.
So I actually have plaques that hang on my wall from his albums actually doing very well and going platinum. So yes, I have. I always try to tap in more. I also worked with Chipmunk. I think he goes by Chip now, and I think he's based in London. We did a record, and what's dope about it is the record that we did was him featuring Trader Truth. So it was dope for that song to bring together London, and Texas, and me being a producer, a part of that. So yeah, it's been pretty cool. I would love to work with more artists. I have reached out to a lot of the artists, via DM or via online or via email to collect the dots. I've never been that one person that has to work with people that are known, or the Jay-Z's, the Chris Browns, and just exclude those that I might not be aware of. So I'm excited to connect with those artists. I honestly say it's kind of difficult to do.
Well, I'll tell you this though. So I reached out to you, and I have some proposals, but I'm also an artist manager next to being a music journalist. So I actually want you to work with one of my singers, and seriously, you're gonna love her, and I need to connect you guys. I wasn't gonna do it in this talk.
But there was the moment. The moment is now.
I'm connecting you after this talk.
Nice.
Anyway, going back into my questions, because I do want to follow some type of structure to motivate the people. What do you consider for you was your biggest, or was your breakthrough? What was that
now,
moment?
Meaning to start my career off, or just as a whole? Like, what was like that? Wow. Like, because, you know, it could be like what started me, or
for you, what was the moment in your life when you were starting in the music? Because you know, you mentioned like a whole bunch of artists that you worked with,
right?
Which is now kind of common for you. Like, hey, somebody hits you up, you're gonna do a track or record.
Right.
What for you was the moment where you like, oh damn, this is it. If I do this one, then I'm gonna be flying off, and everybody's gonna want me.
I love that. I'm gonna give you two situations quickly. I'd say my first placement. My first placement was with Foxy Brown.
Oh, cool.
So I was blessed for that to be my first situation. So it's Foxy Brown, and it was for the Cradle to the Grave movie and soundtrack,
right.
Which featured Jet Li, DMX, Gabrielle Union, Anthony Anderson. Remember that?
I got all the soundtracks on CD.
Yeah, man. You know, so that was major because I'm like, one, I love Foxy Brown, and for that to be how I started out was really big. It was really monumental. I'll show you my wall art right here.
Yeah.
So this is what I've earned on my first placement ever.
Oh, nice.
You know, it sold five.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So to start this way was a blessing, right? But also, you know, a little pressure because you're saying to yourself, okay, well, this is how you started, right? And you set the bar really high for yourself, and you have to. Everything you do from after this has to be as dope as or better.
Right.
You know, so that was kind of a start. And honestly, to hear your song, the first song ever placed on Foxy Brown in a movie. So I'm in the movie theater,
and you hear
listening to it play in the movie, you know, as the actors are acting. I'm like bugging actors and actresses. Then the movie is over, see my name roll in the credits. All of these moments, going into the CD store, purchasing the CD, open up the booklet, my name is there.
Seeing your name, yeah.
All those moments all happening off of the first placement, man, it's epic. I know people, you know, don't really start out that way, so I'm grateful to God to be blessed to start out that way. So just the start for me was like, yo, you here, bro. You know what I mean?
And who got you the placement? Did you get it yourself? How did that come about?
So my cousin was working, and we wasn't even close. It's crazy. He was working for Anton Marchand. Anton Marchand is Foxy Brown's brother. He was the director of A&R at Interscope Records at that time. Right. So he got me a meeting with him. I went and played my beats. Very hip hop when I first started. Real raw, hard, gangster. And he's like, dude, yes. He's like, dude, what you're playing, I can't even use this for like what I'm working on. Like, it's too hard. It's too gangster. It's too raw. But I got somebody perfect for it. And he's like, at 7 o'clock tonight, go down to Chung King Studio, which is a studio in the city.
Yeah, I've been to Chung King.
You been to Chung King? Wow.
Been there. Yep.
He's like, go to Chung King. My sister's going to be there. Go play these beats. I'm like, who's your sister? He's like, Foxy Brown. I'm like, that's your sister, bro. Come on, like, your sister? He's like, yeah, my name is, and I knew everything about Foxy. So he's like, my name is Anton Marchand. And I was like, oh, snap, because her name is Inga Marchand. So I was like, yo, this is really her brother. Went down, played the beats for her. She picked it, you know, left her with the CD that night, went back home, got a phone call the next day, like, yo, last night she made this beat. I mean, pick this beat, pick that beat, made this song, that song. This song is going to be the title song to this movie and soundtrack. Congratulations. That's crazy. And I'm like,
so basically you get to that meeting with Anton and he says, I can't use this. And at that moment you feel like, okay, well, damn, I had a shot. And you thinking in that moment, yeah, this ain't going to work. And then he gives you this opportunity which is maybe even bigger.
Right.
And you get to go to Chung King. I've been to Chung King, man.
I love Chung King,
like,
man.
I was there in the time we didn't have cell phones with cameras yet.
Exactly.
So I got some video somewhere of Chung King. Yeah, I'm really telling
That's
my
so
age
dope.
right now. But yeah, I was impressed to be, because you know we have studios out here, but it's, you know, if you go into a studio where people have recorded that you're fans of, that's just amazing.
Facts. Right.
May I ask how old you were when you got that placement?
I remember making the beat in high school. For real.
Damn, I'm older than you.
I'm 30. I'm 39. I know you're not gonna tell us, but
Yeah,
I'm 39.
I got a few years on you.
So yeah, I remember making a beat in high school around that time, and so
So actually, you got in the game pretty fast.
very yeah. Well, no, because I think I had the joints made, and then
Listen, if you're 39, we talking about 20 years ago. Come
right,
on now.
yeah.
You got in there pretty fast. Nobody gets chances like that at 19 or 20.
That is true. That is true. Because
So
I kind of started. That's yeah. Because I kind of started at like around 15, 16. So that's like, 4 years in to get, to start out that way. Yeah,
that's
it's crazy.
Nothing.
Yeah, it's just so true.
talk to producers that's still grinding at 50.
Listen, I'll tell you this real quick. Perfect, right? Perfect is a record with Dave East featuring Chris Brown that I produced with the Bree producers that are part of my team, right? So that's one record. Petty Wap, which is Young and May, another record that I produced alongside Velocity Music, my other producer part of my team, right? So 19 years in, these are the first two songs and singles to achieve gold status. Now, I could walk you around my crib and you'll see a whole bunch of plaques, right? But these plaques are from me producing on gold and platinum albums.
Right.
Not singles.
So
the point I'm making here is it took me 19 years
to get a single
that went gold, right? So yeah. So for all of the producers that have been putting in 10 years of work, 5 years, 15 years, 20 years, you never know where your time comes. You never know when it's that moment. And, not to replace any moment that I've achieved, not to, diminish anything, but those two are very dear to me because as a producer, it's a huge accomplishment to obtain a successful single as a producer.
Yeah.
So those two records are really dear to me. And again, not to knock anything else that I've done because I've accomplished some amazing, great things.
That's a personal success.
But yes, it's a personal success. It's a personal achievement. But so yeah, timing, and you'll learn that, man. Hopefully y'all that are out there, either male or female as a producer, you'll learn with people like myself and Pay that come and share this information with you that it takes time so that you can operate and be a little bit more patient with yourself during your journey versus myself where I'm bugging out and freaking out like, oh my God, when is this going to happen with no one to tell me, yo, chill out, keep working.
But that's in life, period. With whatever goal you have, nothing comes overnight.
Mm-hmm.
And if it does, you got lucky or you got the right timing or somebody had the moment or had the placement. But you should always put in the work because even if you got lucky with that one hit, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to create others.
That is true.
And it just makes that bar immediately super high for you.
Right. I agree.
That is what I tell my artists. Like, it's great if your first single turns out to be #1 hit, but you got to keep that up. That's pressure. That's more pressure than putting pressure on yourself of making it.
That is true. That is true.
There's two sides to every story.
Right. I agree.
Okay, so we could talk this whole hour away, but I want to keep going with some of the questions. I do see some questions from people, so let me just cut in here and ask some of those questions. Of course, my dear friend Lucas has all these questions. I'll start with the first one. Lucas asks, what artists were the most fun to work with as a producer?
I think Mike Jones. I know he's an older artist. Mike Jones, some may be aware, some may not. He's definitely from the Houston area.
I remember Mike Jones.
And Mike was just really fun. He was really passionate. He would call me for any and every idea he got to some of the tracks I sent him. He would sing it over the phone like he was a writer. So he would sing his parts. And if he wrote a particular part of the song that he wanted to feature an R&B artist on or a pop artist, he would sing that song and just very passionate.
Oh, that's dope.
Really dope. I got to go to Houston. He flew me to Houston. We got to make some songs together. And just one of the most humble and cool dudes. He picked me up from the airport. Like, who does that? Like, pick me up in the airport in a Phantom, Rolls Royce, right? Drops me off to the hotel. Like, no drive with him. Drops me off to the hotel. He's like, yo, man, change your clothes, shower, whatever you want to do. Let me know when you're ready. I'm going to come back and pick you up. Yo, what car you want me to come pick you up in? Because he knows I've never
You get
sat
to
in any of these
choose?
type of vehicles. Yeah, he's like, you want me to come back in the Maybach? I'm like, yeah,
Is
come
he
back in the
still in
Maybach.
Houston?
I think
Because next time I'm
so.
going to Houston, I might have to like call him, be like, hey, can
Yo,
you pick me up in this?
the coolest dude ever. Brought me to the crib. The mansion was nuts. I've never seen anything like that, like in life, like face to
Right,
face. And we parked like at the beginning of like where his house started and walked to his actual house, which
right,
was like acres upon acres, and it was like a football field. It was like a real
right.
football field of grass before you even got to his crib. So Mike was real cool, fun to work with. I want to say Little Mo is super dope, super cool to work with. One of my first few placements right there. Little Mo and Mike Jones.
Right.
Very fun, very energetic, silly, out of
Just like
control.
you.
Yes, yes. So them two. Who else? Who else? Who else? What I like about Chris, so Chris Brown, right?
Yeah.
Um, we've never
I just saw
created.
his documentary on Netflix.
Oh yeah. Oh, it was
Yeah.
amazing, amazing,
Yeah.
powerful, touching,
Very
real.
open.
Yes. What's dope about Chris and myself? We've never worked together in the studio, right?
What?
Never.
Do
We've
you
got
prefer working in the same space?
absolutely. Me.
Would you be open to coming out here and work with songwriters and singers and rappers?
Once we get a grip, on this COVID-19, I would love that. I love
Right.
traveling.
Aside
Yeah,
from
in
all
due
of
time.
that,
Yes,
because
absolutely.
I may have, well, I probably have an opportunity for you or your team to come out here and work.
I would love to. I would absolutely love to. So yeah, we can. We're connected now, so I'm
Yeah.
excited about all of the things that we can do together. I've never worked with anyone from Amsterdam.
Oh yeah,
I know
really
I know
talented
you.
people.
Right.
Really
I'm
talented
sure.
people for you.
I'm sure your arms are strong out there. So yeah, let's definitely get to it. But yeah, so we never worked in the studio together with Chris, but the energy that we get when we see one another, we've toured together. I've attended shows and concerts just to hear him, see him do his thing as a fan. We've been in the same rooms, we've chatted, we've talked. So the energy is just amazing.
Right.
And he's like me. He's very, very fun. A kid at heart at the end of the day, a genius. And it's just exciting to hear what he does to,
Right.
those tracks of ours that we send. Because he's probably the artist that I've worked with the most. That I've created with the most. We produced a record on Indigo album that just was released last year. We produced 9 songs on Heartbreak on a Full Moon. I produced a bunch of mixtape stuff for him. A lot of songs that he put on his SoundCloud.
So I already heard your songs. I
yeah,
didn't know it was you.
Right. Yeah.
I want to get. I don't want to cut you off, but in light of time, I want to get to all the other questions.
Okay.
Let me see. Here's a question from my friend Daryl Keys. Did he do a lot of stuff at Jack the Rapper events down in the ATL? Did you do?
Me? No.
Okay.
I wasn't one that really got to attend like events like that. Like I didn't. When I was coming up, I missed out on a lot of that stuff. My mom and dad were very tight. and they had the cuffs on, boy. So I didn't really get to move around a lot. I was really home a lot, which is how I was able to really, strive towards perfection in regards to my craft. So no.
Right. So he also asks, but you kind of answered that question already in our talk. If you have a team of producers and musicians that you work with, or do you do a lot of the production yourself?
Yes, a lot of production I've done on my own. And the early part, I would say like the first 15 years of my career, everything that I've done was by myself. So a lot of the hip hop stuff,
right?
The Dipset, the G Unit, the Fab, and Busta Rhymes, and Jadakiss, all of that stuff was just my era, me, straight hip hop. Once I started, kind of tapping into more of the R&B side and the pop side is where a lot of the collaborations came. Where I called in fellow musicians and got myself in the room. Absolutely.
Less hard beats, less nitty-gritty beats.
Yes. So yeah, I do have a team of producers, really incredible, really bring different sides of music and instrumentation to the team. And always, while you're asking, always looking for people to add to the team. And in regards to adding to the team, I always look for those that bring something unique and different from what I do or already have a part of the team, and that's not really something.
The team.
Yes, because it allows everybody to be able to work. You know, if everybody
Yes.
is doing the same thing, how do we work? So if you bring a
Yeah.
different style and sound, I can say I'm gonna go to, you know, this person because we need that for this artist, and then
Right.
you know you'll be able to prosper. So
And you
yes,
know, and it's funny because obviously I have some sort of roster of artists, and I don't have two of the same artists because if I get
right,
opportunities, I don't want to have to, you know, choose in my own camp. And
yes,
same thing. We all can work, and we can all do crossovers and help each other. If I have more of the same people, then I can't really help their careers if I only get one opportunity. Okay, there's a bunch more questions.
okay,
Let me see. Okay, this is from my one of my partners who actually works in the #1 studios out here, which I'm trying to get you out here too.
okay.
What's your favorite time of the day or night to create music, or are you into nighttime or daytime?
Yo, all my life I've been the early bird. Like
The early bird
weird.
gets the worm.
You know what I mean? Like weird. I would get up at like 10 in the morning and start creating music at 10 in the morning. And would like to and normally end like around 5 or 6 o'clock, just in time for dinner, you know,
Oh
just in
my
time.
gosh, you're the first producer that I know that doesn't create at night.
Really? Yeah.
At least in
Some,
hip hop.
right, which is, yeah, because hip hop is real strong with
They all
creating
do
at
at
night.
night. You know, I'll be getting calls in the middle of the night. It's just, yeah. They're all smoking weed in the studio.
Right.
When I was young, that was cool, but it's getting old, you know.
You know, right. Now I get you. Yeah, it's always been my thing. Of course, a lot of the artists, you know, work in studios at late at night. So the way I kind of visualized it was I'm going to work during the day, create the heat, right? So that now when the artists are in the studio at late night, I'm already locked and loaded. You know what I'm saying? So now,
that's good.
Yo, you know, I'm sending Fab and Jim Jones and Chris and Trey. I'm sending y'all the heat that I made for that day. And now you can go in and increase the possibility.
Run with it.
Versus, you know, us
We're
both at 10 o'clock. You trying to figure out where you're getting beats from, and I'm making them at 9. I'd rather already have them made at 9.
You a step ahead.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So do you sleep at night?
Now, you know, I'm a night owl based off of, you know, like you said, the artist being in the studio late night, because what happens is I'm growing up, and this is even to date back to, you know, 15 years ago, I'm getting an email or a phone call or a text, right, at 2 in the morning.
Right.
So I've had a lot of opportunities or situations where I've been awakened at 3 in the morning, you know, by Chris Brown, like, I'm in there right now. What's going on? What you got? And I went down into my studio, sat down at my computer and put together folders and sent music at 3 in the morning.
Right.
And then went back to sleep.
Keep that phone on.
You know, so I've learned to become.
I have my artists on VIP status, and they can only call me at night when it's a life or death situation or opportunity.
Wow. That's
I'm
real.
too old for that. I'm too old for that. We have a whole bunch more questions.
Okay, let's get them in. Let's get as many as we can.
Yeah, let's get as many. Okay, there was an interesting question. Have you ever worked with an artist and were disappointed in their vocals? No names. You don't have to mention names. And how did you see? Okay, the question cuts off. But how do you work with somebody disappointing? How did you deal with that?
It's a great question. I've worked with artists that may have not have good timing. And that's a big pet peeve. Yeah, like, you know, on time. You know, we hear that a lot, especially in today's music. So with me being a drummer, I'm like,
on that
it's gotta be in pocket. And it doesn't have to be perfect, because sometimes
unless it's meant to be off.
That right. And that's you getting to exactly where I was going. Unless it's in a pocket where you wanted it to feel that way, because I produce that way, where I'll take off the quantizing, meaning I'll take off what makes the beat perfect in the machine and let it flow naturally as if I was playing it live, because there's no perfect timing when it comes to, you know, humans playing any instrument, right? So unless it's that, but that's like one of my biggest pet peeves. You know, with technology, you can fix anything vocally in regards to notes and pitch and it being tuned properly. So I've gotten stuff that was atrocious, if that's a word.
Yes.
you know, to have to
I
do a
don't want
lot
to know
of
who
fixing.
that was. Don't ruin the dreams.
No, no, yes. But it goes to show you that anything can be done. You don't
Yeah.
have to be perfect at anything because anything can be fixed, anything can be tuned,
But we already knew
fine-tuned.
that when T-Pain came in with his vocoder or, you know, whatever.
Right.
But, and I know he can really sing, so this is not knocking him.
Yeah, he can
But
really,
he's the
and I
one
didn't know
kind
that.
of introduced it where people that can't sing can actually make a record.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So yeah, it
Okay.
happens, man. It happens.
A few more questions. Oh, there's a lot. I'm gonna check. Okay, Lucas, all these technical questions I'm not gonna ask because that's not what we're here for. Oh, this is funny. What are the most underrated producers? Who are the most underrated producers in your opinion?
Underrated? You know what? I don't think Rodney Jerkins get as much props and
Man.
celebration as he deserves.
He does from the old school.
Right. You feel
Behind
like
the
he does?
scenes. Maybe
I feel like in the
in the
industry
industry,
he
everybody,
does.
you can't knock Rodney Jerkins. Come on now.
I don't know. I don't feel like he gets enough love, man. I feel like he deserves way more love for what he's done. And I'm talking about in regards to the fans. Like
Right.
I
But-
think the fans owe him a lot more love than what
But
he
you know
gets, man.
what? He may have gone about it the same way you do.
Hmm.
Whereas he's not out for the fame because you weren't trying to promote
Right.
yourself. He just
Yeah.
wants to create music and get love from the artists that like his
Right.
music.
Right,
I
because
don't know. I
he's
had
a
talked
beast,
to him.
man. He's a beast, man. And I just felt like
Oh yeah.
his catalog is really out of control, like in an amazing way.
Oh,
where
when
I
you get
just-
age, your catalog will be like that. Well, you're working on it.
Right.
I mean,
right.
we can talk about his catalog because he's put in the years also.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah.
but I do agree. I mean, people, if you don't know who Rodney Jerkins is, look it up. You
Right.
know all the songs. I bet you know all the songs or the artists
That is true.
he's
That is
produced.
true.
So
That is
okay.
true.
We got 8 minutes left. Okay.
Okay.
Well, the question I always ask is, what is the advice that you would give producers that are just starting in the game or just dabbling on their drum computers or their, I mean, I don't know what they use nowadays because back in the day it
Right.
was actual MPCs and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know your stuff, Queen. I love
that
it.
stuff. I'm old. I come
No.
from the 8-track time and I
Right.
get to the streaming. So I've seen all the things.
Absolutely.
I was a radio DJ. I worked with stuff.
Got you.
I
Got you.
got vinyl. I did
right.
tapes. So I got my stuff. But what is advice that you give producers that are trying to pitch their music to artists or whatever?
I feel like, and this goes for anything, you know, especially creativity, creatives. And my question is for them: do you love this? You know, and because I think that's very important. I think that you have to be passionate about whatever it is you're going in life,
Right.
whether it's production, artistry, being a doctor, being a lawyer. Do you love it? Can you possibly not live, you know, without it if you don't have it? And that's the feeling that I had coming up and that I still have to this day. Like, I don't want to do nothing else but music, because a lot of times with social media, with the internet, which is what we didn't have coming up, you know, a lot is in the forefront. It's a lot of it is in our face, right? And it's a misconception in regards to what success really is, and especially in music. So
It's a wrong perception of
Yes.
success and of career.
yes. So a lot of people are picking up, you know, this music thing, like, yo, I want to be rich. I want to be on. I
Right.
want to drive that car. I want to wear
Right.
7 watches. And none of that I didn't even know that it was a career for me coming up. I didn't know that you can make
I
money
didn't
off
know
it.
I was going to make this my career either.
I just wanted to do it.
That was not what your parents taught you. You were going to go
Right.
to school. You're going
Right.
to do your university or whatever and get a job. That's
Right.
That's the time we grew up in.
Exactly. You know, so it's different. And I feel like a lot of people are at this for the wrong reason. So as long as your heart is pure, you really love it. This is a love and passion that you love to do, and you really want to do this wholeheartedly, and you're willing to invest yourself, invest in it, you know, sacrifice your time, your energy, your peers, your family, your friends, lose finances, family, friends, you know, loved ones, because that's what it all takes, you know, to get to where we are today and even further. So Gotta
Right.
love it, man. And once you decide that you do love it, then it's about just, giving the world your true authentic self, like being you, being real, not trying to be someone else. It's cool to be influenced by
Right.
someone else, whether it's another producer, another person, another individual. All of that's cool. But what's unique and special about each and every single one of us is the fact that we are ourselves. Like
Right.
no one is me, no one is you. There's people that maybe want to be like you or live like you or
Yeah.
sound like you, but no one is you. There's only one person with that fingerprint. So that's what I feel is our superpowers as individuals. So be you, give the world your true self, be honest, be raw, be authentic, be transparent, because that's what I feel helps allow artists and producers and musicians to be successful is you gave the world you. And it's either people
Right.
like it or they don't. Some people's going to like it. Some people aren't going to like it. And that's just the world. And that's the world we live
Just
in.
like yourself. Like if you
Right.
go and meet people, some people may like you and some don't. You're not going to change yourself for that either.
Right.
And the most cliche words that successful people in any industry always say is be yourself.
Yeah.
Stay true to yourself. And that is cliche because that is what works. Like I said earlier in the conversation, I believe that if you do something out of your heart with your passion, there will be fans. There will be people that feel that because they can feel the genuine art and whatever soul and emotion you put into it.
Right. Right. It's so true.
Yeah, we're running out of time. There's so many questions. Like we may have to do another hour at some point.
Okay.
I did see somebody ask a really great question. What is a song that will get you out your chair?
Like specifically, like
that will make
my
you
favorite
get
song.
up and dance. It could be an old song, could be a new song.
What makes me dance?
Nobody
what's
asked
that
you
song?
that question
No, for real. What's the song? I'm hearing it. I'm hearing the music.
Sing it.
Ain't no stopping us now. You know what I'm saying? That
ain't no stopping now. Who was that?
That before
Daryl,
I let
you know who that was?
Before I let go. Dance.
Frankie Beverly.
Yeah.
Maze and Beverly Frankie.
That
Frankie
Beverly and Maze. Yeah. I wanna thank you.
Yeah. Just all the old school. Yeah.
All the old school joints. So if we move up a little bit, all about the Benjamins make me jump out of my seat, go crazy.
All Missy Elliott makes me jump up.
More money, more problems make me jump up. Let me see. You know what makes me jump up? It's gonna make you laugh. Rest in peace, Shorty Low. That song.
Oh wow.
Yo.
That's how you know hip hop.
Yo, I will be in the club. I'll never forget it. We had an after party with Trey. I forgot what city we was in, and they played that, and I started running around the club, like literally running around the club, like doing that. So that makes me do that. You know what else makes me do that?
Ante up. Come on now.
Oh yeah, that's true. But it don't make me dance though. It made me want to start like fighting, punch people in the face.
But that's still getting up.
Throw some D's on it. What's that boy name? Throw some D's on it.
Man, too many come up.
Rich boy.
Countdown.
Okay, getting a countdown. Oh man,
I'm getting the countdown. Man,
okay.
I feel like I could talk to you forever.
Let's do a part 2. Real talk.
Yes. No. Definitely. Let's do that. Let's do a follow up next week.
Okay, I'm down.
I'm not done with you yet.
I'm down. Seriously, let's schedule it. As soon as we get up, let's schedule it. I'll come back on next week.
I gotta fix this thing on here or else our talk is gonna be gone. But I don't know if you have another talk right after this. But I'm gonna hit you up when I fix this one.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you for this first part. So apparently we'll be back with part 2.
Yeah, next week. Let's do it next week.
Yeah, next week. We're gonna do it next week. What's today? Wednesday. We do it Wednesday in a week.
Okay, I'm down.
Next week, Wednesday.
I'm down.
All right. I'm getting nervous from this countdown. Thank you so much for today.
This is awesome.
And we'll be connecting outside of this
Absolutely.
talk. And
Absolutely.
Again, it was so inspiring. And I didn't even get to talk about your freaking college tour and stuff. So
Let's
we'll
do
do
that.
that.
We'll do that on part 2. I got you.
Part 2. People, tune in for part 2. Thanks, everyone, and we'll see you again next week for this part 2.
Absolutely.
Amadeus, thanks again. I'll hit you up after this.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Queen. Blessings, everybody.
Thank you.
Blessings.
Bye.